small town, seemingly lost in the shadow of time. Surrounded by dense forests and deep valleys, it seemed like a place cut off from the rest of the world. Only the narrow, abandoned streets and the shadows of the stone houses remained. The only sound was the wind howling through the empty spaces, as if reminding everyone that the town, though forgotten, still existed. But there was a time when everyone remembered that this place had once been different. The old generations used to talk about a dark secret buried in the heart of the town. A secret so hidden that even the townspeople didn't dare to speak of it. But everything had changed the day a stranger arrived. Since then, things began to vanish from the town, one by one. A group of strangers, intrigued by the mystery, decided to visit the town. Their curiosity led them deep into its abandoned corners. As soon as they stepped inside, a chilling sensation swept over them. The air, cool and crisp, carried an eerie weight. The town seemed almost erased, as if it didn't belong to the world anymore. As they looked around, they saw a movement in the window of an old house in the distance. They stared, but no one appeared. Just then, a scream echoed through the empty streets, a long, piercing cry that seemed to come from nowhere. They quickly gathered together and followed the sound, uncertain of what they would find. Their steps led them to the farthest corner of the town, where a decrepit mansion stood. It was the oldest building, long abandoned, and everyone in town avoided it. The doors had been shut for years, and the windows were covered with thick dust. Inside, the air was heavy with the stench of decay. The atmosphere was suffocating. As they ventured deeper, they could sense something odd, something out of place. In one of the rooms, they found an old portrait on the wall. The painting was faded and torn, but the image of a man was still visible. However, his eyes were empty. The surrounding darkness seemed to swallow the light itself. They tried to focus on the face, but it was as if the eyes weren't even there. They were just voids. The emptiness in the eyes mirrored the dark secret that had remained hidden here for so long. Then, from the depths of the room, they heard a whisper. The words were unclear, but the voice carried a weight that pressed down on their chests. It was a call, a summons. They all froze for a moment, but before they could move, another sound came from the hallway behind them. A scream, then silence. They turned to leave, but as they stepped toward the door, something unseen seemed to move closer. The shadows around them stretched unnaturally, as if they were alive, closing in. One by one, they tried to escape, but as they rushed out of the room, one of them collapsed to the ground. Eyes wide open, staring into nothingness. The light in their gaze had been extinguished. The others ran, fleeing the mansion and the town. But as they dashed through the narrow streets, they couldn't shake the feeling that something was following them. A shadow, always just out of reach. As they reached the town square, one of them turned to look back. For a brief moment, the town seemed still, but everything around them, the houses, the empty shops, was cloaked in darkness. The shadows had taken hold of the entire town. When they finally left, they never spoke of what had happened. The town, once again, returned to its silence, hiding its dark secret from the world.